Well, greetings and good morning, business mathematics students. This is Mr.D, and this is week number 4 in our 8-week class, BUS20 here at Norco College. And this week we're going to be looking at two, I think, the most exciting chapters of all, and that is chapter 10 on simple interest. So obviously we want to see what our money will make if we invest it, and then chapter 11 on compound interest, which is really powerful when you consider that you can get interest on your interest. That's what we call compound interest because it's compounding. And so we'll be working on problems for both of these chapters. I want to encourage you, however, this is for some reason an area where a lot of students struggle. And we're going to be utilizing the little triangle formula as well, but we're going to be adding a new column in there called time, because time is a part of your interest, how long something is in a bank account, or how long your loan is for, is going to definitely impact the amount of interest that you pay. So we'll be looking at those kind of problems. Let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen and go ahead, and we're going to go to our class in Canvas. I'm going to select that. And here we are on the home page. I'll scroll down. We're actually in Module 2. And by the way, this is the last week for Module 2, which means that this is the halfway point of the course. And secondly, you have your first exam, and it is a midterm exam covering all of the chapters up to this point. So you'll be covering chapters 3, 4, and 5, chapters 6 and 7, chapters 8 and 9, and chapters 10 and 11. The good news, it's only it's only 25 questions. However, I will warn you that there is some fill-in questions. In fact, a lot of them are fill-in questions, but in some ways that's better. You may not like that, but the reality is if you're doing the problem correctly, even if you get it wrong, I will give you at least partial credit. Whereas if you have a multiple choice question and you get it wrong, you get it wrong. So keep in mind that if you get it close, you'll still get some credit. And if you do it right, you'll get some credit. And it also allows me to see where you went wrong. So make sure you show me your work. If you don't show me your work and you just give me an answer, then it's no different than the multiple choice questions. So, but that'll be your midterm exam. So this week, again, you're looking at chapter 10. So please start by doing the README first, and then the helps again, to make sure you read both of those and mark them as done. And then start looking at each of the study pages and work your way through a few of the chapter 10 questions. And by the way, there is a video of me working out chapter 10 problems. And then the same thing with chapter 11. There's a video of me working out chapter 11 problems. And just so you know, there is, when it comes to compound interest and present value, there is two ways you can do it. You can use the tables, which in my opinion is the way you should do it. They're in the book. They don't really change. They're also on the formula sheets that I provided here. And they make it easier. You just follow the same process of how many times a loan is going to compound over the life of the loan and what interest rate it's going to be at each time it compounds. And then once you've went to the tables with the number of times it's going to compound with the interest rate each time, and I'll show you how to do that in the videos as well as the textbook will. Then you use the table factor, you multiply it by the principal amount that you're going to invest or borrow, and that's going to give you the amount of interest or the amount of interest or the total amount that you're going to pay for that loan. And then you deduct the total amount or the principal from the total amount, and that gives you the compounded amount. And so it's really simple. There is also, however, a formula that you can use. You still need to figure out how many times it compounds and the interest rate. So you still have to go through that, but you can plug it into the formula and you can work it out that way. And that's up to you. It's not a difficult formula to use, but it is an algebraic formula. So keep that in mind. I find that most students get the answer wrong when they use the formula, and they get it right when they use the tables. And all of the problems that are in the answer sheet have been done with the tables. So just keep that in mind, but you can certainly solve them any way you want to. So you have a check-in assignment on compound and simple interest. This is a quiz in the sense that it's got drop-down menus. So I give you a worksheet, work through the worksheet, then go to the quiz, take it, fill in the correct answers. You have options there, so you might be able to then compare yours to it. And if for some reason yours is different or close, or you don't find your answer, then you might want to rework the problem. But that's the check-in assignment. That's worth 12.5 points. You do have a quiz as well. Now you might say, well, why did you give me a quiz when we have a midterm? And the reason I do that is because the quiz is like a learning tool. It's not an assessment tool. You can take it multiple times. So I would take advantage of taking it multiple times. The earlier in the week, the better. That way I get a chance to grade anything that needs to be graded on it. You'll get your answers. I'll even give you the full answer to some of the problems if you get them wrong, and then you'll be that much more prepared to take the midterm late in the week. So do the quiz, do it multiple times, learn everything you can, and then take the midterm exam. The only other thing that's missing here is your case study. So you started it last week. This is the one where you're figuring out Michael's his taxes on his payroll deductions when he was single and got paid monthly. Now he's married, so he has some deductions. So you have to figure out what is his paycheck going to be now. Ideally, you would use the formulas for that in the formula sheet last week when we were doing actually week number right here when it's formulas. Actually, it's way back here in chapter 9. Sorry, chapter 9. So it was last week. If you use the formula sheet right here, it actually gives you the tables for figuring out the payroll. I encourage you to use those tables rather than the ones in the book. However, if you do the ones in the book, I also have the solution for those. So it doesn't really matter, I guess. Anyway, that's your case study. So you're going to be completing that. I'm going to go ahead and select that. And I'm going to change that to complete. Then other than this, you just have the exam. I encourage you to give yourself plenty of time to do it. I don't even think I have a time frame on it. Let me check and see if I do. I'm going to change this to the 21st. That's when it's due. And then I'm going to take a look here really quick at the exam to see how much time you get. I think you get a 2 hours, two full hours. But let me check that before I say that. So the exam is worth 100 points, and you get, actually, there's no time limit. So you can take as long as you need to complete that. So take your time working out the problems to get them correct. And I've given you that advantage. So, all right. So that's it for week number 4. We'll be starting a new module next week, week number 5, and we'll be doing some similar content to compound interest. We'll be dealing with, I believe it is, sorry, it's going to be annuities and mortgages. And mortgages is completely different, but annuities is very, very similar to compound interest. It's just that you're saving money by making payments into an account versus putting a lump sum into an account. So it also in compounds, and you earn compound interest on an annuity. So we'll be explaining that next week. But so that's very similar. And then we shift gears, chapter 14, 15, 16, all the rest are completely different than anything that you've been doing thus far. So, all right, well, have a great week, and you'll see me on video next week. Until then, have a good one.